Okay, guys. Coming Monday we have MLK holiday, so we are not. The whole campuses will be closed, so therefore there will be no class. MLK Day, so this is Federal Day celebration day, so there will be no class the 20th of January. And watch out for the weather. There is a possibility that we can get Tuesday another storm of snow again, and the whole thing might crash down. The whole university systems will crash, and we might be out for another day or two. So just watch out for the not Monday. They said starting Tuesday and Wednesday. So watch out for Tuesday and Wednesday for any storm coming or something like this, and keep logging into the GSU website and look at the latest news about the weather and the closure of the university campuses. Okay, guys. Here I was. When you look at the quizzes there, the quiz folder, I did hide the whole thing from you. I worked day and night to get this one started, but I was very lucky to get everything now inside the quizzes section. So we are very good now. And I have now the quiz 1 in the quiz section and is there. You can see it there. Let me just use my stylus here. Just hold on. This is a quiz now, 10 questions for 1 hour. And don't take it until we finish chapter 1. The delay is part of the publisher Macro Hill with all their communication. I had hard time communicating with them. Their system is so awkward, so it's very difficult to manage. So I have to go for a video with their help desk, the IT. They showed me how to do it. So I was able to pull out their quiz out and then just embed it inside the quiz manually. So I took question by question manually and then copy and paste them into iCollege, because now we can use the lockdown browser. Okay, guys. So the quizzes are not open book. The quizzes are not open book. Quizzes are 10 questions and very simple questions, not difficult. So the quizzes are not, and then we'll see as extra credit as they will come. They will help you in those quizzes. Those quizzes, 13 quizzes, worth 50% of your point of your total grade, correct? And the online assignment, 10%, and they can be accessed from the iCollege itself. So if I go through the course home and then scroll all the way down to the iCollege here. So the quiz, I really did hide them from you, correct? They are as a PDF file, but I'll delete this folder later on when I finish all the quizzes. I just manually copied and pasted quiz number 1. But over the weekends, remember, we have 4 days off. We have Friday meetings, but we have no meetings this coming Friday for our faculty. So Friday I'm off, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So I'll be able to copy all those quizzes, 13 quizzes, into iCollege. So you will be asked to use lockdown browser. Because somebody's emailed me, I told that students we might not be using it. I don't know. I have to meet with the publisher to see. Then I managed through their guidance to get them copied 1 quiz now at the time. So I'll be transferring all those 13 quizzes over this holidays. So 4 days I have, so I'll be able to get all this. And then you will see this quizzes folder is really deleted. There's nothing there. I will delete the whole quiz. But the online assignment is on. The online assignment is on for all the chapters. Are you following me here? So the online assignment will be on. You can access it direct from the iCollege. So, but you have to have an account there. So you have to have an account there. Okay. Any question about this? Because we have to. You were very patient with me, and I have to work with this publisher. Sometimes very hard to work with the publisher's product. So, but anyway, any question about this? No questions. So then I will assume everything is good. And now we'll go for the chapter, the PowerPoint, and I have for you two types of PowerPoint: short version and detailed long version. The detailed long version is here. All the PowerPoint, those are not mine. Those are the publishers. Correct? Those are the publishers, and that's a concentrated one, or the short version one. That's mine. So I took some other stuff out and kept whatever is really important for us to know. Okay, guys. So those are two folders for the whole thing, and then you can visit the worksheets and videos. Everything in those are free from the public domain, from YouTube, and from other free public websites. Okay, guys. So now let's go now for the lecture. We'll start lecture chapter 1, as you said here. Well, here it is. The chapter 1 is about the most of it is definitions. Most of chapter 1 is a definition. And what is really environmental science? So, and what we have to come out of this chapter 1, or in matter of fact, all the environmental science topic. So we can come out of, bless you, or Gesundheit. Gesundheit, bless you, that's in German. So we have to, in this chapter, and this, the whole class or the whole course is about understanding problems of environment and how those problems of the environment impact our life, our whole globe, and the whole planet as such. So that's the whole idea. How that we are looking at the impact of the environment on our lives, and as a human, and on the biodiversity of whatever species we have seen living with us. As you can see through the years, a lot of species are gone, and we cannot retrieve those species back, and that's because of human-made destruction of the environment itself. Nowadays, there's a lot of things are improving, as you can see, and that's what it comes to the. We should sustain very stable and improved environment in order to live and stay alive in this planet. So that's the whole idea. Then we'll have to know about some critical thinking. So all the critical thinking, we will learn about why environmental science is important to us, and how we can improve our status of living inside this planet within the species living with us, not by ourselves. There are too many species are living with us, marine life, insects life, and you name it. There's a lot of other stuff going. So with the help of environmental science, which is coupled to a lot of other branches of science for biology, chemistry, mostly geology, all those three major sciences are contributing with the environmental science to understand, improve, and to elevate the environmental thinking and environmental points to good standing, because if you look about 50, 60 years ago, the whole thing, as a matter of fact, when I was in Germany in the 70s, you cannot swim in a river. You cannot fish in a river in the 70s in Germany, because the whole rivers are really polluted, heavily polluted, with a lot of chemical waste coming from the factories. Nowadays, if you go back from 70 to now, the 70s and now, a lot of improvement. So they did really improve a lot of stuff. They did clean a lot of rivers. So because this has a negative impact on us. So let me see here. What is the environmental science? That's in general. So as I said, that's what I mentioned. This environmental science is a science supported by other branches of sciences such as geology, biology, chemistry, climate science. Those are sciences are really improving our life and sustaining our lives with all the other species living with us on this planet. So, and try to minimize all damage done, all the destruction done on the environment, which has a negative impact on our life. So that's the whole environmental science. So, again, is if you look at the picture here, you can see this will give you the conclusion about on abstract or what's going on with the environmental science. So you can see all those topics are connected to the environmental science. So economics, you ask, economists will say, what incentive drive deforestation? So now Brazil was the first leading country, Brazil, in destruction or destructing their own Amazon forests, and that has a lot of negative impact. Now the last 20 something years, 25 years, Brazil went out of this destruction of their own forest to plant a lot of trees and regain those plants back, because if you get those trees out, you know, it will have negative impact on temperature, on flooding, on all the other stuff, marine life inside those on the Amazon area with the Amazon River. So religion, anthropology, what is the cultural or moral values of a species? Arts and humanities, what narrative shape our ideas about other species? Policy, which is very, very important. Really, policies are really controlling all the rest of all the items here in environmental science. Good policies, decent policies, really will control all the other topics you have. So if we have those in hand and really supported by all the governments of all global countries, so in the globe, you will see a lot of improvement. But weaker policies or a very loose policies has negative impact all the time, and that's what I have in the 17C. I have seen in Germany. I give you an example because I lived outside the States, so you can see that time they gave the factories the upper hand, and the factories, they did not care. They looked for the profit and they did not care. They dumped all the chemical waste inside the rivers and the ocean, correct? And that's on the sea. So, and that's not good. So, but now you can see a decent policy will control all the other factors here. All the other factors you can see. Chemistry, chemistry is the major polluting items or factor to the environment. So, and it can have a lot of destruction on the environment itself. And really, On the other hand, chemistry can improve the environment by using a lot of clean clean power resources, non-toxic chemicals, and reducing a new nutrition, helping the environment in chemistry. So then the other population biology, and you can see that this is the major one. Population is growing while the food is not enough for all this. Now we are, how many billions we have? About 7 billions or so. And it was predicted in 2050 maybe it will be running to 10 billion population, 10 billion people, and the rate of the food, although it's increasing, but it's not enough for the 10 billion people. So, and that's had a very negative impact on the environment itself. Ecology, what resources do the species need, and conserving the biodiversity. This is a challenge everywhere. As I said, from a country to other country, the policy. Then again, we're back to the policies. Policies are different from country to other country. While in some countries there's a lot of preserved area, and a lot of animal and then birds are really preserved. In other countries, they don't care. And one of the major problems you can see in Africa, they kill a lot, millions and millions, I mean, not millions, but thousands of elephants just to get this big tooth of the animal cut off, and the animal is just dumped out, and they take this one here, making some jewelry and some fancy stuff, and that's a very challenging part for the environment. And the policy again is very important to control this. Now, some countries in Africa is not allowing this. It's not allowing killing those elephants. And some countries in Europe and United States as well will not allow any merchants or any person dealing with those elephant long teeth here, will not allow to import them from Africa. And that's just an example. Just to give you an example. So that's a challenge but from one country to another country, some countries will accept that. They'll say, okay, you can import your stuff here. And then you can import it, we can use it. It's okay. But then a lot of good countries, developing country developed country will not allow. Developing some country, some part of it, they will allow all this destruction for the animal environment. Environmental science is a global subject. Stop me anytime if you have any question. Don't hesitate. If you have any question or you have any inputs or feedback or you want to contribute to any ideas, just please stop me, and I will be more happy to share that with the rest of the class. So, as I said, I mentioned that's a global subject. Environment is a global subject, and it's really a global headache for the humanities and for the whole planet. Not only the humanities, but for the whole planet. So, throughout this course, you will be provided with links, and as I said, you can use Google Earth, and I will add it. I have added YouTubes, so you can see for each topic we'll discuss. There is a couple of YouTube videos for free, and you can watch those as well. So, our planet is I think, is the only planet in the Milky Way galaxy there is a living. We did not see any living creatures, no UFO, whatever, that's nonsense. It's not there. We did not have the evidence, scientific evidence, that some other lives are really existing in those rest of the planets, meteoroids, whatever, stars. We did not know, and we did not have the evidence that there's a life come out of this earth. The earth is the only one that have a living creatures, animal, insect, marine life, you name it. And why? Because it has mild temperature. We are far off from the sun, and then it has a very fertile soil. We have rivers, we have oceans, we have the whole factors are living to have a real life on this planet. So, and we have plenty of supplies from food, from nature. While this is missing in the other planets in our Milky Way galaxy, you will see some of those are really burning stars, or you cannot live with them because they are very, very hot. Thousands of centigrade Celsius temperatures there. You cannot live there. Or they are frozen to death. There is no living. Everything ice. Everything is frozen. So the only planet is our planet. The Earth has really all the conditions available for a life. Correct? So, and this is said. You can see we have diverse animals, diverse insects, diverse marine life through all our planet. You'll not see that anywhere. So, I mean, we went to Mars, we went to other Venus, to other planets, but there are no sign of life there. Whether they have toxic gases, or whether they have storms, they have very, very cold temperatures, or they have very hot temperatures. So, and the soils are maybe radiated, they have radiation in the soil. So there is no living creatures inside those planets, correct? And meteoroids is just rocks. There's no life inside them. And the stars, most probably, they are really having the same problem with the planets. They have maybe higher temperatures, thousands of temperatures in the centigrade Celsius, or below 0 degrees, very freezing temperatures. So, and therefore you will see our planet has a very rich, diverse animal, insects, marine life in our complex environment in our planet. So, there are 3 themes inside environmental sciences covered. The first theme is the let me go here, and then we'll go one theme at a time. So, environmental quality, that's the first one. The second one is human population and well-being, and the third one is natural resources. Now we'll go through those 3 items covered by environmental science. Now, environmental quality goes over the climate change, the air quality, and through water quality, the same thing. So all water resources. So let's look one by one how they have an effect on the environment. So those are the 3 items. If you get a quiz and asking what one of those items, you would know that each item is connected to important topics. So like the first one, let's look at the first one, environmental quality. What we are talking about we are talking about 3 items. We are talking about the climate change, that's under environmental quality, the air, clean air, and then we called about the tower quality. So here it is. Under the first item, we have 3 items. Under the first environmental quality item, that was the first one, correct? That was the first one. Under this one, the first one, we have three items. So 3 items here. So under the quality of environment, we have three items, which is the Tabor cleanness, the air quality, and the climate changes. And all those are three challenging items or topics, correct? So under the second one comes the education of human being. That's the second one here. So let's have this one here. That's the second factor, remember? So that's the second factor here. And it comes three stuff here. Population education, this is one. Population growth and availability or hunger or food sustenance. I will say food sustenance. I will add sustenance to the food. So those are the three major items in the second factor. So we have, go back again. It is, I will go back and look at the factors affecting the environment, which are here. It is, those are the three. Just I will put them again, and then I'll come back to the third one. This is the first one, environment quality, human population and well-being, second, natural resources, third. So within those three, you have three items in each, correct? Three items in each. So, and that's what the quizzes are really. They will ask you about the whole thing, and then will bring you some of the sub-items for each main item. Those are three main items. So this is three main items. Within those three main items, you have three sub-items for each major items or main items. So just keep it here. Okay, so here it is. We went through those three, and then from the three here, we went to the first major item, which is the environmental quality. And you see it under environmental quality, we have three sub-items, which is climate change, clean, Tabor, and then air quality. And the second major item, we went to human population and well-being. That's the second one. We have three items. We have food and food sustenance and hunger, population growth, and information and education. That's as well very, very important. We'll explain everyone, then each one will be explained in this PowerPoint presentation. You will see it, every details will be just given to anyone. The third major item, which has sub-items as well, which is natural resources, which has four sub-items. This is number three. Let me just here. This is number three major item. That's the major one. And those the sub-items belongs to this major item, those sub-items. So those are four. Biodiversity loss. As I mentioned, we have lost a lot of species through the 100 years or late 200 years. We lost a lot of species. They are gone and they are not replaceable. We cannot replace them. We cannot get them back. Conservation of forest and nature preserves. And that's what Brazil now is doing with the Amazon. Imagine that all the forest in Amazon is cut off. What will happen? We'll get flood all over, tsunamis all over the world, because the temperature of the whole globe will increase by at least a couple degrees, which will have a lot of driving force to really drive those tsunamis. And marine resources and energy resources. Those are four sub-items for the third main item, natural resource. So let's go further and look into those in some details. Not all of them, just a couple of those will be discussed by the book. The textbook does not really go through all this in details, but some of those areas are covered here. So, crisis and opportunities. If you look at this, as I said, about 7 billion, and now maybe increasing population on this earth. 80 million of those, there are more than 7 billion on the earth, with 80 million more each year. So it is to be predicted later on, maybe 2050 or 2060 or 2090, whatever, this population will increase over 10 billion. So now you have this increase in the population of the globe, of the planet. The question is how you sustain this growth with the very limited resources. You cannot sustain that much of that amount of population with very, very limited resources. So the present trend projects that the world population between 8 and 10 billion by 2050, maybe more than that. We don't know, depending how is because everything is the population increase is related to other areas. The second item, education's increased through the globe. The internet had really enhanced the education a lot through all the planet. And you have the type of chemicals used, they call it clean chemicals as fertilizer, not those bad chemicals, pesticides that can cause a lot of damage. So therefore, the population might increase more than 10 billion in 2050. That's just a prediction. That's a prediction. And the impact of that many population on our natural resources system has a big impact on the problem we face. As I said, the more we have people there, the less limited the resources. And we've come to the dead end that's those resources not enough for everyone. So and that's a major problem. That's a major problem. And then we'll start competing with the other living creatures on this earth. So with the marine life, with the insect life, with the other animal life. So that's a major problem. The growth of the population succeed or exceed the amount of resources available to us. Although we have been humans are producing a lot of food, but it's not sustaining the growth of the population. We are growing very, very fast, as you can see here from this curve. See here, you can see from this curve, we are really increasing. But if you look at the growth, I can add another curve that's not there, but maybe there is the food maybe here just a little bit. So that's the food growth, food production growth. So that's my curve. And you can see a big difference. It will come to the gap that we are way here, and then we settle down. It's saturation. It will not change in the curve. We'll stay just in one line, this area, and this is going in, and the gap is huge between population growth, the upper curve, and the food production growth. It will come to the point that the food production will just come to the saturation. No more food is produced that much, and the growth is still ongoing, and that's a major problem we will be facing. So, as I said, you can stop me anytime you have feedback, you have any concern, just let me know, please. So um, climate change, political changes, climate change. That's a major one too. Beside only not only the food sustenance, but there's a climate change. Is another problem. So with all those you are producing food, you are producing a lot of convenient chemicals for us, but there is a side effect for this process or these processes. Those side effects are you are producing a lot of greenhouse gases. And somebody will tell me what are those greenhouse gases? Somebody will tell me? Yes. Carbon dioxide is the major one, but that's not only the one we need, correct? So this is the major one, that's correct. But what else? We heat our houses with methane, natural gas, and it's found in coming out from volcanoes areas, coming out from the sea. Methane can come out from the sea, oceans as well. But then the problem is methane is part of the greenhouse gases. Nitrogen oxides, all the oxides here of nitrogen, that's what they contribute to this. Or fluoride, or halogenated one. So those fluorinated or halogenated organic compounds, those are contributing to those gases. So those are the major contributing for this climate change, because as you can see, the weather is changing and the whole thing is changing, and those part of the greenhouse effect, that those are really those gases can really preventing the heat to escape. And even you can consider ozone. Ozone is there, correct? Consider H2O moisture. But those are harmless. Those are okay. They are harmless. They can't cause nothing. But all those here can cause a lot of, the heat of the earth will be elevated, because all those type of gases available in the air, and those coming out naturally, like methane, natural gas is coming out by itself from the oceans, from any volcanoes area. So, and we have consumption a lot of natural gas for heating, but sometimes there are a lot of leakage in this processes, so methane will escape and goes up. And then you have all these gases. This is just side effect from the factories are produce some chemicals, and those are halogenated one and nitrogen oxides ones, part of the processes of the manufacturing some chemicals, and those are side effects will come in the air. So they are contributing to the heat increase, correct? And even H2O, although it's not toxic, but even they can cause a lot of, within those gases, they can cause a temperature increase, as is predicted here. If you look here, by 2100, from now 2000, we are 2025. By 2100, with the temperature might raise up to 6, up from 2 to up to 6 centigrade Celsius. And it means we have tsunamis, we have floods, we have a lot of other problems for the planet, not for one country. That will cause the whole, because this temperature for the whole planet, and that will affect the whole planet with the heated temperatures. So, and let's go here. Thus, we have one of them. That's one of the environment quality. That's the major first item we discussed. Some of it is clean tap water. So, well, you'll see that it says here by statistics here, data collection, 1.1 billion people lack access to safe drinking tap water. And polluted tap water contributes to the death of 15 million. Those are data collected through the years and presented in conferences. And that's a lot. If you have 15 million are dying just because they have no access or they have very polluted tap water. So that's a problem. 40% of the population live in the countries where tap water demands now exceeds supplies. And that's especially, I will say, those are countries, they have very intensive, high amount of people living there, such as, for example, India. India is an example. China. Those they have 1.4 billion per country. India has 1.5 billion. China has 1.4 billion. And in confined areas, not a huge area. So you will see some areas they might have no rain, no nothing to sustain the rivers and the ponds they have, and therefore they don't have access. You can go and look at the video, YouTube's there, you can see that's a major problem for countries. They have huge amount of people living in confined areas, such as India and China. They have over 1 billion people living in confined, closed areas, and they have no access for clean water. Instead, they have access to polluted tap water because the policies is not intact, or the policies are very weak to support clean act water that we have here. We have a Clean Act, gas, air, Clean Act, tap water laws there. But I think India might lack on this. China the same as well. So those are huge countries with a huge population, and they really miss those type of policies. And a couple of days, I think a couple of weeks, I was looking at the Peking, the capital city of China, in the morning. You can't see nothing. The smoke is all over the place in the country. They drive 8 o'clock with the light, 12 o'clock p.m. in noon afternoon, with the light is on, because you can't see. It's too foggy. It's just heavy industry is affecting the air and will affect the access as well to clean tap water as well. So let's go here and see environmental and political problems, air quality. That's what just I mentioned. This is again, did I mention China and India? Now we are having the same problem here. As I mentioned, air quality, you can go and look at the YouTube videos about India, some areas, and China, some areas. Those are heavily industrialized cities. They have really major, you cannot breathe in some areas. You have to have mask or filter or whatever. So, and thus they have air quality is very, very bad there. But although they are doing their best, but it's not strong, restrictive policies. If you have a weak policies, you cannot help yourself. You have to have really very restrictive policies, especially on the factories and the industry, so they have to eliminate all this waste by all means, and they try to come up with ideas to keep the air clean and the tap water clean. So Nobel Prize winner Paul Crutzen estimates that at least 3 million people die each year from diseases triggered by air pollution. correct? As I said. And if you can look at one of the major one is the nitrogen. Remember the nitrogen? Although they're contributing to the heating of the planet, but those nitrogen based and follow a halogenated base organic compound and nitrogen oxide compound, they are contributing to the lot of diseases. Can somebody will tell me what nitrogen oxide can cause? What type of diseases can cause? You will not believe it. Lung cancer. Lung cancer. If you look at all over the globe, over the planet, the lung cancer in areas is very high. It's connected to those nitrogen oxides coming out, the factories, power plants, whatever, from the industry. So those are very, very major problems, and that's really true. So United Nations worldwide estimates that more than 2 billion metric tons of air pollutants, not including those we know, carbon dioxide, which contribute to the increasing of heat. Carbon dioxide by itself is non-toxic gas. Carbon dioxide, not carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is highly toxic, deadly, lethal. But carbon dioxide is not. However, it has a problem. It has higher density than air. So it does not settle in higher elevation, but it settles really very, very low in lower layers of the atmosphere, and therefore is preventing the heat from going through. It's a greenhouse. It's keeping the heat. The heat wants to go out, radiating out in the universe. Those carbon dioxide density is very heavy. You can see this movies. Can you see this movies in the graveyard? Some thick smoke coming out. The smoke coming out is carbon dioxide in the movies, in the graveyard. Can you see the smoke? They are making smoke. That smoke is carbon dioxide. It's heavier than air in density, very heavy. It's not toxic. The good thing is not toxic. It's not toxic, but still contribute to the heating effect of the planet, because it does not prevent the heat to go to the universe outside the Earth. It's really making like a layer, so any radiation comes in will be absorbed or just reflected back on the Earth, and therefore the heat will be confined. It's not going outside the planet. So there will be United Nations estimates 2 billion metric tons of air pollutants, not including carbon dioxide, are below, and then not even the soil from there, are released each year. And that's coming from the power plant and all factories in the industry. As I said, some countries are very restrictive, like here, United States, one of the very restrictive. They really do fine. And the fine here in our country is more than millions of dollars in fine. If they come and then the filters are leaking some of those gases out, this factory will be fined heavily. But I don't think so in China and India, because they have heavy population. They have some such restrictive measures. They don't. And as you can see, 2 billion, that's a lot of pollutants through the air. From just India and China, just maybe half of this or more than half is coming from India and China. Because that's, they have a lot of industry and they produce a lot of goods, a lot of industry stuff, but then they dump the whole waste. And most of their power plants and all this industry, they don't have filter to absorb those gases. They go but just in the air with all their toxicity, with all their lethal, side effects. So, air quality, we talked about the air quality here. Environmental, political problems, hunger. I think the hunger is not that bad, but again, as I said in the curve before, we cannot sustain the way of the growth of the population with limited resources. It will come to the point we call it a dead end. We are producing, but it's constant. It's not moving anywhere, while the population is growing to come to the point that's billions or a couple of those billions are not getting any food, starving to death. That can happen. That really can happen. And with all this heating of the globe, that will cause some areas to be really dry. It cannot produce any plants or any. You can't do any crops over there because the area is very dry. So, at least 60 million of people face acute food shortages due to weather, politics, or wars. That's part of the whole thing too. So this is the hunger is, as I said, is a major problem. It's very difficult to sustain food growth versus population growth. So that's a major problem. Environmental biodiversity loss, as I said, we have lost from the dinosaur era until now, I would say hundreds and hundreds of species have disappeared, especially in the last 400, 300 years. In our modern time, the last 500 years, we lost a lot of very rare species and creatures. So that's another problem, because you have all this pollution coming from all over the big countries such as India and China and all the stuff here. That will contribute more to the destruction of these creatures. So, and it says here, habitat destruction, overexploitation, pollution, all this here will cause this damage to the environment, and we'll be losing a lot of species. And we did, I mean, and that's comparing from the dinosaur era to now. I think maybe thousands, not even hundreds, thousands of species are already distinct. There's nothing there. Marine resources, that's another thing here, and that's one of the major problems. Some countries, like in Europe in general, in some cities or villages, they don't allow their government to dump nuclear waste inside their area. So the country is going dump the whole nuclear stuff where? In the oceans. And that's a major problem. If you have a nuclear power plants, that's a major problem, because then you have to get rid of this nuclear waste of this nuclear power plant. So in some countries they are allowed to have reservoir. You have to make a reservoir there inside the ground and put all this waste there. But then if you have an earthquake, guess what? This reservoir will be cracked from the earthquake, and all the waste will be turning inside what? Inside the tap water reservoir. So you are polluting your clean tap water. So that's a major one. And most European countries, they are not allowing to have this nuclear waste is dumped inside the ground, because anytime you have an earthquake, then it's affecting your tap water resources. So here's give you the data statistics. It's 3/4 of the 441 fish type and types or stocks are available, but there's a lot of distinction of those marine lives. And one of the major problems, some countries are just dumping this nuclear waste inside the ocean. And that's very dangerous. That's very dangerous. Or dump some chemicals. Whatever they have waste, just dump it inside the oceans and in the rivers, and that will affecting the marine lives, and the whole thing will be affecting human life as well, because we are depending on this food. And they said 1 billion people. That's statistics here. I like this one because this has a lot of statistics. 1 billion people really rely and depend on fish food. So if they have a nuclear waste there, or all the chemical waste there, then those 1 billion people who are depending on that, they will be distinct after a while. They'll be dead, having a lot of type of cancer, which is really that's deadly. So that's one of the major that the environment is facing. Now here's energy resources. That's another problem. The fossil fuels is another problem, and the using coal, natural gases, all this will contribute to global warming, correct? And the problem with coal is not only global warming. In Europe, they are heavily dependent on the brown coal, correct? Brown coal. Now, the problem is not only the carbon dioxide will come out, there's a lot of small, tiny particulates of coal, small species in nanometer. You cannot see them in your eyes. They will go within carbon dioxide during the process of producing energy here. And those particulates most probably will cause a lot of damage for a human lungs, kidney, and liver. So those, you see a lot of countries, the coal industry is shut down. Except again, India and China, they are still using this coal as a resources for their energy, for electricity, for stuff. And that's not good. That's not really good for the environment. Coal is producing a lot of toxic particulates, small tiny carbon, nano scale, nano diameter. You cannot see them. They come very, very small, like asbestos. What is asbestos? Somebody will tell me what asbestos is? Asbestos? You heard of asbestos? No? If you have an old house, they'll tell you to check it for asbestos and for radon. Radon for the radioactivity, but asbestos is a mixed oxide, like a porcelain, like ceramic. When it comes to the small, tiny stuff out of it, you cannot see nanoparticles. They can come to your body and damage a lot of organs inside your body. Can cause cancer, and very deadly. And spread this cancer can turn into tumors all over the body. So that's the same thing with coal. That's the same problem with coal. So you will see those natural resources. We have to turn out of this by having solar energy, was a clean source of energy, having solar energy, having wind energy. So those big fan, you saw them? They're run by the wind. So they can produce a lot of energy. Not that much compared with the oil or coal, but at least clean. You'll not get any side effect of the particulates from the coal or carbon dioxide from the coal or from the oil. Or even from the combustion of natural gas. You combust natural gas, you get CO2 out of it. So supplies of the other problem, even those fuels we are using, they will come to the point there is no oil, no crude oil on this planet. It will come to the point. Maybe not in our time, but hundreds now from here, they said 100, 150, maybe 200 years, you'll never see oil there. So already we have depleted most of the oil areas, wells inside our planet. So there will be less and less and less every year. So you'll come to the point we don't have oil. And that's really very good for us. Why? Then the human, especially the scientists, the leading scientists, they have to come up with the very natural way to sustain this planet without using all these chemicals. I know the crude oil is very important. We get a lot of other chemicals out of it, but still the side effect of it using it is diminishing the benefits. The side effect of using coal, oil, natural gas is diminishing the sustenance of our lives inside our planet. And that's what it says. Investing in renewable energy and energy conservation measures such as wind energy, solar energy is less destructive and a very decent way to sustain environment. So, sign of progress, population and pollution. We talked about this, and indirect. Very poor countries nowadays, they really improving in their pollution area, but still we are still behind. We are still behind. We are not really getting rid of this issue of the population itself. I mean, of the pollution itself. Since 1960, the average number of children born per woman worldwide has decreased from 5 to 0.45. That's because of the education. And the UN Population Division predicts that the world population will stabilize at 8.9 billion by year 250. They said about 10 billion, from 8 to 10 billion, but still, that's just an estimation. That's just an estimation. Health, well, you can see all diseases are really out now. We have the means to fight all those diseases. You will not see them anymore. I mean, they can appear on and off in some countries because of the pollution or whatever, but they are, in general, they are out. Polio, smallpox, all those are out. However, I say on out, but since we are using all those chemicals, now we have a new diseases coming, which is 100 years, cancer was not really there. 100 or 200 years from now, back in the history, we did not have a cancer. Now we have cancer specialized in all areas of the body. Skin cancer, lung cancer, kidney cancer, brain cancer, all types of the organ are type of cancer we have. That's because of part of the pollution, part of the chemicals we are dumping inside the air or inside our rivers and ponds. So, renewable energy, we talked about this. Investing in renewable energy is much more profitable and much more healthier for the well-being of the all creatures on this planet. And you have solar energy, you have wind energy here, you have biomass power. What's biomass power? Somebody will tell me. It says here biomass power. Somebody will tell me. Brazil is leading in this. Brazil is leading in this. Well, the corn. Brazil is producing millions and millions of acres of corn, not for food, not for eating. They use it to produce methanol. And methanol is used as a fuel. It's better than the crude oil. When you burn methanol, you'll see very clean. It comes CO2 and H2O come out of this combustion. So this biomass is just, you get your power from a decent source, not from the crude oil or coal or natural gas. You come from the food itself, such as corn, such as animal droppings, and so on. That's what we coconuts, oil, all those type natural stuff. They can provide a lot of clean source of energy without side effects. Education is very important. As I said, education, as you see, will enhance the status and the well-being of humans and the environment as well around us. So, and you can see uh, uh, education had led to declining birth rate worldwide, and the internet makes it easy nowadays to share all the environment uh, important ideas, solutions. So, and all this education is very important point here. This is conservation of forest and nature. We talked about this, and Brazil is leading now. Brazil is leading in this, and we have still cool yourself down. We have 7 minutes, I think. So Brazil is leading in this. Brazil is they were cutting all the trees, not all, but some of those trees inside the Amazon area. So now they are rebuilding those forests by replanting all those with the trees. But imagine this Amazon forest is disappearing. What will happen here to the globe, to the planet? Somebody who can imagine what will happen? It will be a big catastrophe will be there. A big mishap. Why? Well, you'll have this global warming will go not 6 degrees or 5 degrees, will go beyond this, and you'll see the whole flooding from the tsunamis, and then the moisture H2O will start boiling, come down on us. So it'll be you'll be flooded from the top and then from the ocean, from the skies and then from the ocean. So most of the countries, they will be just disappearing, If we have this Amazon is out, I see a lot of countries will disappear. Maybe continent will disappear. Are you following me here? That has a big impact on our life. So we need a lot of forests, we need a lot of plants on this earth to sustain the cycle, the eco cycle between CO2 and oxygen, air, oxygen and CO2 in and out. So 13.5% of the world land area is now in protected areas. That's very good. So Amazon is now, the Amazon in Brazil is protected area. They cannot cut trees. They can add to it, but they cannot cut any tree anymore. So that's a plus. That's a plus. Marine resources, we talked about this, and the same thing. There's some marine species are endangered, so they have to be put inside the list to be preserved. So you cannot fish any type of fish you like. Some of those fish are protected, and if you fish that, you will be fine in most of the developed countries. But again, in developing countries or poor countries, that's not the case. They can just fish any fish they want without any hesitation. How we describe resources versus conservation? Well, this is always the resources you are consuming, correct, versus you are using in a way, in conserving way. So this is a balance between how much you give and how much you take in. That's what it says. How much you give to the environment and how much you get out of the environment to yourself. And that's a very a delicate balance between us as a human and the environment. So an ecosystem service refers to the services or resources provided by environmental systems such as resources. There are some resources we don't think we are inside them, but we cannot really think about them. So there is a picture here, show you, and that's we have provisioning condition. We have regulating. This is carbon dioxide coming in. That's supporting factor. O2 coming out. That's supporting. Food and fuel. You need the tool to help you that. Provisioning. That's you have to have the tool. Provision means you have to provide. From providing tools to get this food and fuel. The lakes and the ponds and the tap water there is called supporting, and all regulations of temperatures and air cleanness, tap water cleanness is regulating. And then you have here combustion of the fuel or wood or something that's supporting. And then you have carbon capture, carbon dioxide capture in the atmosphere. This is regulating as well, supporting. So we have a couple minutes, and then environment and social progress, sustainability, sustain this environment in the long term. This is the main goal for humans. And World Health Organization is predicting that sustainable development as such, meeting the needs of the present without compromising with the ability for future generation to live in. So the people who come after us, they have to get the same life or better than our life. We are not just, very selfish. We think about ourselves, and we don't think about the next generation will come after us. That's what it means. We have to have a balance between our generation and generation to come out. So fighting poverty, we talked about this, shared environment. Affluence is a goal and liability. So this is how you control the greenhouse and all the pollutants, correct? We talked about this as well. So here it is. And here you see the poverty. You can see it in this, the HDI, the health index here, health development index, HDI, will tell you from this map, the areas with very highly developed means highly developed, less poor. And less developed is high poverty. Less developed means less HDI value. The red ones, they have high poverty. The people over there are poor or very poor. The green areas and the green, yellowish green area, those are the developed countries. Those are the higher HDI index, which a human development index. You will see the number is higher as well. So not higher the green areas, but still the poverty is the least. So the green areas, the least poverty. The red areas is the highest poverty through the HI, and the values here has no units, but it's just from the statistics came up with this global or all the continents countries there. So I think I will stop here, and then I'll close the quiz. So when we finish a chapter, we have a lot. I have a lot of issues. So we come and finish this, and then I will open for you the quiz. You can take the quiz. Okay, guys? Monday there is no class. Monday there is no class. And keep yourself with the website to see any, to hear any, or see any information that might be Tuesday. Because you have to come Tuesday, correct? Tuesday might be no class as well. But I don't know. That you have to be tuned to the weather. So there's a possibility that will not come Tuesday. I need everybody with the attendance sheet. Make sure you sign here, guys. Make sure you sign, because that's for the no-show. For the no-show. Otherwise, their names will be deleted. So your name will be. So make sure you sign, please.
Professor, that was me that sent you the email about the respondents, the webcam. It says that I couldn't